a lot of hype surrounding Undead Lab's latest release, State of Decay for the Xbox Live. It was announced like a year ago, and there's been all this hype. Like, it's supposed to sign third-person zombie survival, horror, action, base building, strategy, scavenging. It's supposed to combine all that. Now that it's released, you know what I have to say about it? It lives up to those expectations. You thought I was going to diss it out? People. State of Decay is an awesome game, worth a purchase for the Xbox Live, and it's also coming out for PC eventually. So if you people have a PC out there, but not an Xbox, wait for that to come out. So let's get on it. State of Decay takes place in the fictional Turnbull Valley, putting you in the shoes of Marcus Campbell, at least at first. After camping 2 weeks with your buddy Ed, you find out that the zombie apocalypse happened. People die and Ed gets wounded, and then you need survivors at the Church of the Ascension. After that, the game is depicted by you. Not really, but it's completely free roaming, and I love free roamers. You can do whatever. Practically every building in State of Decay is lootable, enterable. Just, you can enter it and loot it. There's only like a couple of buildings that can't be entered. Best of all, you don't stay as Marcus the whole time. Watch my LP. If you haven't watched my LP, you can watch it. It'll show you that we can switch between characters. Any character you friend, get enough trust with, you can become that character and play as them. And each character has a specific set of traits and that can either positively or negatively affect you, or just not affect you at all. And each character can build their skills by doing stuff. For example, you can build your character's cardio by running a lot, or build his fighting skill by doing a lot of fighting. And you can do what you want, really. Do you want to hole up in a church your whole life, picking off zombies with a long-range rifle? Do you want to move into the house nearby? Do you want to be a melee specialist? Or do you want to be a scavenger, moving from place to place as you need to, scavenging for supplies pretty much everywhere? The game is depicted by you. It's very fun, very addicting. And it's got a high enough liking by me for me to make an LP series of it, which is in progress at this time of this recording. So you can watch that. It was released June 5th. No, it was released June 4th. No, yeah, it was released June 5th. Never mind. For the Xbox Live, it is coming out for the PC eventually. It's $20, which makes it very worthwhile for its price. It's just great. However, I have some negative things. As every game, it has its weaknesses. The combat is pretty much, to sum it up, it's pretty much one-button combat. You just sit there mashing X until a zombie falls, either its head explodes or it falls down, and then you can do an unrealistic finishing move, like jump on its head and smash it to oblivion. Unrealistic moves like that. Some of them are kind of funny, like when you go golf club and smack a zombie like you're hitting a golf ball. Others, like you hit him once with your knee and his head explodes, kind of unrealistic in my opinion. Also, the storyline is kind of weak. Being a free roamer game, it focuses more on the free roaming aspect. There are multiple storyline branches. For example, there's a storyline branch on your neighbors, the Wilkersons, the military. There's a storyline branch at home. There's plenty of side missions to go along, but the main storyline is kind of weak. If you're going to play for the story aspect, you might be a little disappointed. Luckily, you don't have to. There are many side missions to come up. Trade opportunities. You get to escort survivors for trade. You can scavenge your buildings. You can rescue survivors. Help defend a building from a siege. I only have two negatives about the side missions. First off, the side missions just pop up so frequently. You get 5 side missions and you don't know what to do. It kills its own free roaming aspect in that regard, as you get so many side missions, and some side missions can have very negative effects if they're not done. For example, if you don't rescue a survivor, that survivor could be killed. So that could suck. And the other thing is, this is the problem with most free roamers, the side missions are repetitive. There's only like 6 side missions to go through. There's like, I'll count them up. I'm not sure there's actually 6. I'll count them. There's kill a horde, stop an infestation, hunt a special zombie, rescue a survivor, meet survivor, like gather survivors to your household, scavenge, and what was the last? Defend a home. So like 7 or 8 side missions to choose from, and they repeat so often. Some side missions barely pop up, like defend a building, and others, like go find a survivor, pop up frequently. So yeah, luckily it has its own 3-way branching dialogue for a lot of things. There's the do thing, which is the good way. You can either agree or say yes to do something. You can decline it, which can cost you influence, which is kind of like how you get items. You have a certain amount of influence to gather an item, which is kind of cool, but it's kind of broken a little bit. I'll explain that. Not really broken. I'll explain it a little bit. Or you can hold her off and wait for your decision, but something could happen before then. Now, like influence, it's kind of like how you get items. You get influence for doing certain things, and you need influence to gather things. The only thing that kind of irks me a little is you have to use influence to gather from your own base. Things that you gather, if you put in the supply locker, you have to use your influence to get it back. That's a little broken in my regard. I guess it's designed so you can't like get all the high-tech gear because the group doesn't really trust you. But come on. Luckily, you get influence. You get plenty of influence. I would get influence like building a base or having to get supplies from someone else. But it kind of, when you're using it for supplies at home, it just kind of feels weird. Now there's another trade, which ammo is mainly the trade. You can trade for food and ammo, or either you trade for food and ammo, or someone trades you ammo for food. But those are pretty much just giant escort missions that take you halfway across the map for some food, and they pop up at some of the worst times. Also, one thing that's cool about influence, though, if your influence exceeds your fame, which is fame, if you use it, it's pretty much do missions, you get fame. If your influence exceeds your fame, your influence will start to decay until it hits your fame. So your fame pretty much means your maximum influence that can be stored. Same with supplies. Your base can only hold so many supplies, and then you need to build a supply area to store more. Any supplies that you have not enough room for will deplete themselves over time. Now here's one feature about State of Decay that's both cool and it just annoys and hurts people. State of Decay, when you turn the game off, time will continue to go, at a slower rate of course, but it'll continue to go. So, if you put a construction project, come back the next day, the construction project's done. But this could be good as it completes construction projects, so having to wait an hour or two, because it takes like an hour or two to complete a project. But it's bad because materials will be consumed, survivors may get lost, a lot of things happen and you can't do something about it. It's something that it's a little broken in my regard. It would have been okay if it just did it for like building things. And if you watch my LP, you'll know how frustrated I can get with it. Like when I pop in after being gone, after not LPing after the game for a week or two, and all sorts of crazy stuff's happened. So, yeah. Another complaint I have with the game is the ending mission is it's just, ugh. It's the worst. It's kind of a very bad ending. It's not like a Mass Effect 3 ending. No, it's not that bad, but it's kind of bad. The last mission is pretty much you stand at a spot and shoot zombies that come into your way. You pretty much just stand one spot, escort and protect the survivor until they can arm some explosives because you need to blow up a wall. And you gotta do that twice. It's so simple and just so boring. You just stand at one spot and shoot zombies all day. And it's actually got the most story, it's got the most emotion, which I think that kind of emotional should have come more earlier in the game, like climax more mid-game. And the state of emotional aspect, the most story, is not really that there. And I haven't finished the LP, but the ending apparently, I couldn't even get a good view of what was behind the wall when we blew it up and see what they were concerned about because they said, "Oh no" or something. I couldn't even get a good view of it because I was in a bad spot. So, yeah, no. So I don't even know what happened, but it cuts off after that. You can't even. I don't even think you can go back into the game and keep scavenging. I haven't tried it. I'll tell you my LP if we can do it or not. But I doubt you can go back. So once you do that final mission, You can't go back and do anything. It's kind of like XCOM in that regard. You have to do everything before you do the final mission, or because once you start the final mission, you can't go back. So yeah, and it's not like you're rushed or anything. But some of the main missions, like that mission, you're not rushed at all. You get radio remarks where people complain to you they had to do it, but you're not. But literally, you are not rushed to do that. Not at all. Yeah, that pretty much sums up pros of the game. Very, very, very fun to play. It's very addicting. It's free roaming, which I like. It's got all sorts of places to loot, scavenge, and stuff. It's got a great base building, which I never covered. I'll actually cover that in a minute once I finish pros and cons. And it's just, it's pretty much complete. That's pretty much it. I can't think of a fifth one. Cons of the game are, it's got some glitches. They were fixed in a patch, but they got some glitches at launch. It almost has very little story. There's a story there. It's not like a Brink storyline, but it's just weak storyline. Failure at the ending mission, and repetitive and frequent side missions just keep you from doing the scavenging and free roaming. Anyway, before I give my final score, I have to tell you about the base building aspect, which I kind of slipped my mind. You gather building materials with one of the 5 resources: food, medicine, ammo, building materials, and fuel. You use building materials to build your base. With your base can only hold a certain amount of spots, and there are some buildings that are kind of necessary like a infirmary, a watchtower. But you can build things like gardens, libraries, workshops, all sorts of stuff for your base, and you can upgrade them. And each of those buildings has an effect. For example, if you build an infirmary, it gives your wounded people a chance to recover. And if you build a storage area, you get more storage. Build a garden, you can grow your own food. Workshop can build suppressors, Molotovs, and repair your weapons and later vehicles once you upgrade it. Also, each base can have a certain number of outposts. Outposts can be used to, like, they're places to rest. You can go there, resupply your stuff, and you can, they gather materials. So it's kind of like rest stops. The only thing is, you can't deposit your supplies. So you have to go all the way back to your home base, which kind of sucks. It should be where you could deposit your supplies in an outpost and deploy them anywhere. That'd help for if you're halfway across the map from your base instead of an outpost. Well, I guess that's kind of cheap, but you can only have a certain amount of outposts. And each outpost can also have traps, which can then be upgraded to include range and stuff. Now these traps can be used to destroy, so that's pretty nice. But now we got that out of the way, time for my final score. Tearing everything in, it's kind of tough for State of Decay, but I have to give it a 7 out of 10. It's a very good game. Don't let it pass you up this game. Even with kind of a weak storyline, repetitive side missions and everything, it's very fun. The pros outweigh the cons more or less. It's just a very good game. Don't let it pass you up this year. That's some of my reviews, but remember to drink some lemonade, pick up a controller, and have a good time. Peace out, peoples.